Hi guys, this is the fifth part of a five-part Docker Ono on tutorial series. Check out my other videos before proceeding ahead with this part. In this video, I will show you the basic working of Docker using the Getting Started app, which will be followed by a live demo. Okay, so let's get started. So our environment is going to be Windows 10 with Docker for Windows installed. Check out my video on how to install Docker in Windows 10. I've added the link below in the description. I will show you how to get the Getting Started app using Docker, which will then be followed by a live demo by creating a Docker file and exploring some of the Docker objects and commands which we have seen in the previous videos. Okay, I've already installed Docker on this machine, and let me start the Docker now. Make sure if you have some whale symbol already present here, that means your Docker is started. In my case, it's not. So I'll just start my Docker for desktop software. So the Docker dashboard is started. Now to check whether this Docker engine is running, look at your left bottom corner and it says started for a while and it just started running. Okay, now let's just explore what is available. If you're freshly installed Docker for Windows, then you might not see any containers or images like so. Now I'll show you how to get the Getting Started app. For this, I'll be using PowerShell window and copy this command docker run -d -p 80:80 docker/getting started. So let me start a PowerShell window and paste the command and click enter. What Docker is doing here is it's trying to find if an image is locally available. If it's not available, then it tries to get the image directly from the Docker Hub or your self-hosted registry. Once the image is getting downloaded, it starts a container since we said Docker run. Now the container is started and has been given an ID 28D8 and so on and so forth. We have asked Docker to publish the internal port 80 to the external port 80. So let's open a browser and see what's available. For this, I'm just typing localhost :80. Okay, we are now in the container and we see an application here. So now on the left hand side, you see our application tab. Just click on this and then scroll down until you see download the zip. So when you click this, you will be asked to download and or open it. So I'll just download it to my desktop here. Once the download is completed, I can just close this window and also minimize these things. Let me just check, refresh it. Here's my downloaded zip file. Now I'll extract the contents of this zip file, extract all. Yeah, now it's extracted. So just go inside the folder and see what are the files and folders available. So first thing we need to do is to build an image. To do this, we need to create a Docker file. Now, I create a Docker file using right click, new text document, and rename it to Docker file. When it asks, yeah, click yes. Now, generally, you can edit this Docker file in any text editor or code editor, and I'll be using Visual Studio Code Editor. You have syntax highlighting and all the lints and test stuff which you can do. So that's why my preferred way of writing a Docker file would be using Visual Studio Code. Now, let's just write some script to containerize or to build an image out of this application. For this, I'm going to do from node. This is going to be a node application. Alpine. I'm going to take the Alpine version. You see, it automatically suggests me the different versions of node available as base image. So now, next thing I gotta do is apk add some um, requirements. It's gonna be Python, G++, and make. Change the work directory to app, and now copy the contents from this folder, the build context, to the working folder app. Now once you have copied the content, install the dependencies by using run yarn install only the production tile. The last but not least, start the app saying node src index.js. Yep, now the Docker file is ready. So let's build an image out of this Docker file. Build. Normally, it is enough if you give the path so that at this path we have a Docker file and it builds automatically an image. But it's always recommended to give a meaningful name to the image so that we can find it in the list. Now let me start. Okay, we've created the image now. Let's check the created image. This can be done by using the command docker image ls. So we see here two images. One image was created about a minute ago. That's the image which we tagged as getting minus started. And the other image is the docker slash getting minus started. This was downloaded when we executed the command docker run. Let's also check if there are any containers started or running. And this can be done by docker container ls. Now let me just widen up the screen. And here you can see there's a container which was created 11 minutes back, and it's accessible via the port 80. Okay, to see if to see okay to list all the containers, we use the command docker container ls minus a or minus minus all. In this case, only one container is available, so it's okay. To start a container, we use the command docker run. So now let's use the command docker run and detach the container, publish to the port 3000 externally, to the port 3000 internally, with the image getting started. We could also give a meaningful name for the container by giving minus minus name docker minus 111. So when we get a SH8 number, It means it's started the container and we don't have any errors here. So let's see whether our app is accessible via the port 3000. In order to do this, I'm opening a browser and just typing localhost colon 3000. Yep, our app is now running in the container. Let me just have some entries here to check whether it's working. Buy milk, um, study Docker 101 tutorial, check out latest videos from Santosh Ramesh channel, and so on. We have successfully containerized our first application. So until now, we have built an image, started a container, and explored the app. Now you can export or push this image to a repository in order to collaborate with others. Okay, let me now show you why Docker is gaining much attention in the last few years. As I mentioned in my previous videos, the Docker image will build only the layers which have been changed. Other layers will be used from cache. Let me modify this Docker file here by adding a statement. I just expose. We know that we want to use the port 3000, and this expose 3000 will make anyone who's reading this Docker file know that the application will be available at this port. Let's rebuild the image and see what happens. To do this, I'll use the docker build command again and tag it to the getting started image. As you can see here, the layers 2, 3, 4 are used from the cache. This means the Docker does not need to build these layers since they are already available in this file system. Okay, the image is built now. Here we can see there is a significant increase in the build time, meaning um, the previous build time was around about 160 seconds, and now we have here 129 seconds. There's a difference of 30 seconds, and this is a significant build time increase or build speed increase, and we can optimize this Docker files in such a way that we have faster images and faster uptime. We have come to an end of the Docker 101 tutorial series. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe my channel for more videos like this. Bye bye.